Hello, today I'll show you how to make a crossbow, or actually just a bow, in Scratch. As you can see, this is a bow and arrow. And if I click, then I can shoot the arrow. And I can change how fast the arrow goes. So let's get started. First, delete the cat and paint a sprite. Name it bow. Then, use the line tool and create a line and make it a good size. Now, using the line tool again, make the outline a nice light gray color and create the feather. Then duplicate and place here. Now, and actually make the main arrow go to the front. Now, when green flag is clicked, forever, and now point towards mouse pointer, and create a new variable called power for the spread only, and bow third for the spread only. Set bow third to direction and set power to distance to mouse pointer divided by 8. And now if you click down here and click pen, erase all. And now create a new block called create bow. Run without screen refresh and add an input called X, Y, and power. And in here, we input where we want the bow to be. Let's say negative 170 and negative 120, which is around here. And the power, we'll just set it to power. Now, in here, in create bow, make sure. And now create a new block called create arm. And add an input called turn, or actually here, add in turn. And then add an input called turn, add a label called X, pause, add an input called X, Y pause label, and Y input, and lastly power, and an input called power. And with this, place it inside create arm turn, and then actually make sure that in define create bow, and then you add in create arm turn, and turn for this one negative 15, X position is X, and Y position is Y, and power is power. Now, in the create arm turn, switch pen color to a brownish color, this. Then set size, pen size to 3. Then point in direction, border, and turn 90 degrees clockwise so that it faces, or so that it's not facing, and instead facing to the side. Then go to X and Y, and now repeat 3 times, pen down, and then we turn, by turn times power divided by 100 and plus 0.5. So that the more power, then the more the bow will bend. And move by turn. And then for the string, pen up, then set pen color to a lightish gray, set pen size to 2, and pen down. Then point in direction, border, and now to find the position of where the arrow is gonna be, we do X plus, and then the sign of direction, sign of or direction, multiplied by, and then power divided by 100 plus 0.5, or actually power divided by 100 times negative 50 and plus negative 23, because this is 66. So we offset it so that the arrow is in the correct position, or actually the string is in the correct position. And with this, place it here, and we don't need the plus 0.5. And now place it in X. Duplicate this, replace X with Y, and replace sine with cosine, and place it there, and pen up. Now duplicate to create arm turn, and make it 15 instead of negative 15, so that it'll create this one and this one. Now after it creates all that, it'll position the arrow. First duplicate this, place it down here, and remove the plus negative 23, so that you have X plus sine of direction times power divided by 100 times negative 50. And same for Y, but instead Y and cosine. And if you test it, as you can see, you will have an arrow, or not arrow, but a bow. And if the arrow doesn't really align with the string, you can change this from negative 23 to a more negative number, like negative 25, negative 40, for both sides, or actually 35. And you can see how that changes the string. And now you have a bow. Now for the actual shooting mechanism, create a new event called new message and call it firing. And when I receive firing, forever, and if mouse down, wait until not mouse down, and this isn't a broadcast because since there is a wait until, it'll kind of stop the create bow, which can look glitchy. And now, after the wait until, create a clone of myself and create a new variable called bow power influence for this sprite only. And this is for the firing animation by setting bow power influence to negative 0.8, and in power, in create bow, we do, instead of just power, power times power bow power influence, and actually make this a if else. So it'll set to that, else we'll slowly change it back to 1, which means the power will be fully normal by doing change bow power influence by 1 subtracted by bow power influence divided by 5. And like that, if you click now, it'll have a nice firing animation. And now for the actual arrows, when I start as a clone, create a new variable called gravity for this sprite only, and set gravity to 0. Then repeat until touching edge, or if you have an obstacle you can touch that sprite. And now change x by sign of bow times power. And since when it fires and bow is for this sprite only, when it fires, the clone will have the value of when it will fire. And now with this, duplicate it, and instead of change x, make it to change y by, and cosine of bow times power. And now with this, for it to actually turn, create a new block called find direction, and with the inputs x and y, and run without screen refresh. And in here, duplicate sine of bow from x and cosine of bow from y. And actually in here, plus gravity And now, also up here, change gravity by -1. And now back in find direction, point in direction, and then we use, this time, a tangent of x divided by y, and then plus 180 times y is less than 0. And with this, and based on the direction and speed, or the speed of the arrow, it will determine the direction of the arrow. And for gravity to work, change y by gravity. And also set power to power times 0.98. And lastly, when it touches the edge, wait 1 second, then repeat 10 times, and change ghost by 10, and delete this clone. And now if you test it, as you can see, when I click, it'll have the shooting animation, and there will be arrows that launch. And if you want, you can make these feathers slightly more visible. And now you have a bow and arrow in Scratch. Thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.